Hello, hello, my friends. It's me, Cynthia, and Marty, and Azalea.
Hello.
Azalea's behind the scenes. I got to give Marty his snack. Hello, my friends. I see Cecilia. I see Terry. Hello, hello. Could one of yous out there give me a thumbs up if the sound is good? And if I need to do a quick refresh, it's better to do at the very beginning than 10 minutes in. So if I could get one of my friends out there, I would love it. Here, Marty, you can have, we'll start you with something. My darling, he's wearing his ruff. You know, I called him earlier and I said, Marty, it's time to work. And he came running. So it's time. Hello, Kelly. Azalea made this ruff for him. It's kind of like it's a crochet. It's a crochet piece. Kind of supposed to be like a mushroom or kind of like an Elizabethan ruff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hello.
Clown ruff.
Zakai says, good. I see that the sound sounds great. How about the picture? Do I need to refresh? Am I pixelated this time? I remember we had some trouble. You know, we've been doing this now since COVID. And when it comes to technology, you don't really know what's going to happen because we're kind of dependent on the streaming services. Hold on, honey. He's ready. He acts like he's never had anything to eat in his life, but he gets fed.
Nobody had any doubts about that.
No one had any doubts. Hello, Nilda. Hello, Kelly. Hello, Nancy. Hello, my friends. I see Wendy. Wendy says he looks simply regal.
He is.
Shuri says, hi, Cynthia, Azalea, and Marty.
Hello.
Kelly says, pick okay. All right. Well, okay is better than pixelate. So I'm going to get started. All right. He's on the tall stool today because I got this tall stool at an estate sale a few months ago. I'm not sure when, but it's better than the other one because he didn't want to sit on it because it was a little bit flat and narrow. So this is good times.
Accommodates his fat body.
It accommodates him. No, not that way. He wants to go on because I have a piece of fabric here and he wants to lay on it. And that is where I need to get my work done. So we won't be doing that. So exciting for me is that I finished up. How many necklaces did I get finished, Azalea? I
don't know.
Quarantined myself in my room trying to get all these necklaces done because, well, number one, I promised I was going to get them done. And, it's easy to put it off. It's easy to do. The fun part for me, I love sorting the beads and I like looking at the beads. Stringing is pretty good too. I like every part of it except for putting the clasp on. I do not love putting the clasp on. So that's not the fun part. Oh, it looks early in the morning. I don't know. I can't Azalea, what is it when it's like Kelly is in the UK? Thank you for joining us. That's pretty exciting. I love it when we have an international audience. Remember one time when we had someone from Norway on? We were like, whoa, feeling the excitement. We're international. Hello, Clem, my friend.
I didn't
Hello,
catch that
Jeanette.
question you were trying to ask me though. I'm not gonna lie.
What's the time? What time is it in the UK?
Oh, I have no
It's
idea.
7 here. Not here, Marty. Well,
Okay.
this cat. You can't sit on this part. I need to work, my son. Get on this way. Go this way. He's like, I don't want to go that way. So today, exciting, we are featuring a kit we put together for our friend Anne Gardan, who makes gorgeous enamel pieces. And I'm going to put some here so he's not like tempted to make a nest on. He's supposed to make a nest because there's a flat piece here. He's like, why not? You have a white piece of fabric. That seems like it's something I need to lay on. So we're not going to let him lay on. One thing that we finally did was we made some of the branches. Y'all remember I made these for this kit.
I have a link to drop so y'all can browse what we got going on.
Oh, it's already Monday in the UK.
Yeah.
I know it's so weird when you think about it. You're like, wait a minute. They're in the future. yet. That's Marty, it's only a stick. So it's fun. My friend Joanne and I, we collected these on the Biltmore property, not like where it's, really where they go in with like, little scissors and really manicure it, but in kind of the wild areas. The Biltmore property is a pretty huge tract of land in the middle of Asheville that runs along the river. And Joanne's got a pass. And so we'll go in and you can bring a carload after, I think, 4:30. Not a carload, but your car full of your peeps. But you can't get into the house. It's just the property itself. So you can go and ride your bike or whatever, or roller skate or whatever you want to do. It's a really beautiful. Like the garden itself is
He'd do what he wants.
yeah, he's like, I'm done. He wants to get on the table. We have tried in the past to get him to not be on that part. He's trying to get this, is what he's trying to get. I'm gonna put it back over here. He's trying to get that. Oh, Wendy says I got a couple already and they're very cool and realistic. So they are twigs. I don't know what the type of stick this is from. Maybe
We've
an
had them
oak.
in silver, but
We have-
I'm not sure we ever had them in Shibu.
No, I don't think we had him in Chief. He's gonna knock my coffee down. He's ready to get over there. Get over here, honey. You want to get on that chair? You have to sit here. He's off the table now. Marty. Mistakes were made. Oh, hello, Vera. Hello, Tina. He wants that stick. He loves a stick.
Not like Alfie loves a stick.
Not like Alfie. Kate Richburg, her big boy. He's the biggest cat I've ever seen. And that's
He's
including my cat,
very
Frick,
handsome and
who
beautiful.
was at his heaviest 32 pounds. And it was all muscle. You might think he was like really fat, but he wasn't fat. He was just big boned. He was massive. So
Alfie's a big, beautiful boy.
all right. So this is
He collects stick.
yeah, he collects sticks. So this is a material that's called shibuichi. It is a metal that is alloyed, which means melted together with silver and copper. It has a higher copper amount in it, so it's very hard. It's an extremely hard metal, and it was first used in ancient Japan as the hand guard for a katana, because if it got nicked by a blade, it wouldn't damage the really ornate design. Like if you've seen them, it would be kind of an oval shape with a hole, kind of a slit in the middle where you put the blade. And I remember seeing a collection I want to say it was at the LA County Museum in LA, called it the Wacky. But anyway, this is a really beautiful metal. And what's interesting about it is that it is, when you polish it, I don't know if you can see that. I'm going to turn the camera around. I'm going to show this in full force. Yeah, and he is dressed up. He keeps wanting to sit. I'm going to just move this. He really wants to lay on the table because I have cloth on it. That's the there's a cloth.
The most important detail is that you believe that this cloth has silk in it.
Oh,
don't you?
So this cloth that I'm using has silk in it, and he loves.
He loves silk.
He loves silk. He
He
runs
will
around.
carry it in his
I
mouth.
I have a scarf. It's like a tie silk blend, and he's always stealing it and dragging it around the house.
And meowing with his mouth full of it.
He's meowing with it in his. It's odd behavior, but it's like his nest. It's like his favorite thing, like his blankie or something. It's pretty cute. I'm gonna flip this camera around. We've given everybody a few minutes. Can't believe it's already 9 minutes in. Weird. No, honey. You have to be patient. He doesn't want to be patient. He got here early. I called him. I said, it's time to go to work. And he came up here. No, honey.
He knows when it's time to work.
He does. I'm flipping the camera. I'm going to show what we have going on. Okay. Okay, so it's just a little bit different. I have this is a silk blend. Oh, we have a zoom happening. That's what's going on here. Adjust this lighting. Oh, I know, I love it too. So here, this is what I was talking about. This is the stick. Get in there tight so you can see it. This cat is getting on my nerves.
Wow.
He's like with no regard to my stuff.
Just big and greedy.
Oops, can you adjust it, honey? Oh, there
The
we go.
cord is busted. There's nothing I can do when it disconnects.
Oh, it did it? It's
Sometimes,
back on. It's
sometimes
back on.
cameras they disconnect because the old chargers are kinda busted a little bit.
Cecilia says, I couldn't wait. I ordered the bead caps and branch.
I saw that, Cecilia. You wasted no time. I saw your 2 separate orders for those. Thank you very much.
I know,
Thank
isn't
you.
this beautiful? It's silver and copper alloyed together, and what we did was we molded, like I trimmed this off of a fallen tree branch that I found, and it was just such a perfect shape, and you can see all the detail on there. And what I did was I added these little wax loops to it so that you had a piece that had multi-use. I originally thought, hey, that could be a good branch, but you know, it's not bendy enough. This is not bendy enough for this. This is design. You could use it this way. I think it's pretty cool. This is originally how I was thinking of it. And this is the colors that we picked. This is all the choices. So what we did was we put these in sets and warm and cool. So this is how it went down. And there's a drop-down menu that you can pick these colors. Yeah, I'll show you.
Let's ask everybody if they need a demo for the drop-down menu because I could do that very easily.
Yeah, so do you guys need a demo for the drop-down? It's on the website. So these are the sets right here. Is it like this? There's 6 sets or is it 3? Do you remember how you did this?
There's 4. They were like this. So these 2 are together.
Oh, I see. Duh.
These 2 are together.
Oh, and then these, I
2,
forgot.
and
Yeah.
then those. So there's 4 separate
Okay, so this is how it goes, like this.
connections.
And then let's do it in the rainbow. So if you got all of them, you get it like this.
Yeah, there's 8
So
different
these are kind of like the colors are in this kind of grouping because you might like this for like a berry look. Like, so this is like the leafy part of the green. And check this out. So this is a great big old bead. And this is one we've had in the past. This is that lepidolite. I only had a couple left of this to make earrings.
10 millimeter bead.
This is a
fit
12.
the very best.
So
in the
12
caps.
millimeter. This is how it looks with 12 millimeter.
Show it with this one. This is the one that's actually in the kit.
This looks the best. So
these are in the kit. The purple emerald is what she's got in her hand right now. Those are 10 mil. And then the slightly smaller ones are 9 millimeter. I think it's pronounced Charawhite or Carawhite. It's like I put it Charawhite. Okay. But those are in there too. So there's 10 millimeter green or 10 millimeter purple emerald, and then 9 millimeter Charawhite.
Carolyn says she wants to get Azalea to check on it. If it says it's in process, we've been waiting on pewter if you're waiting on that. So
yeah, if your thing says unfulfilled, you'll get an email with tracking number when it does ship. But if you are wondering about a package, every single time if it says unfulfilled, it means that we're waiting on something to fulfill it.
We just got pewter in yesterday, so that was we've been waiting on it. And with the state of the world's pewter now comes from Burma. And there was strife in Burma. And so that makes it where you kind of have to wait around. So unfortunately. So anyway, we have 2 different kinds here. This is Charawhite, and the other one is called Purple Emerald. It's a similar kind of matrix as emerald, but it's a different color. There isn't a ton of this. I found this from a friend of ours that specializes in gemstones that are kind of like specimen type. So there's never going to be a ton of this available. I pick out, like, I love things that are unusual and hard to find. So that's in these sets. I was showing how these look. And if you got these from before, the aquamarine, check out how good this would look. So this is I think this is 12 mil. Let me check. Where's
Did anybody say that they need it to be shown how to do the drop down menu? Because I can show that.
Oh, Carol says the shipping has been super slow here too.
Oh
I'm not
yeah,
sure why.
I've ordered took forever. So, I think that's just happening right now.
Oh, so this is 12 millimeter actually. So these are for knitting needles, but it works good for these things here. So this is a 12 mil. Let's see how it looks with this. Looks pretty good, I think. So this kit has these in it. This is what happens. So we sold these separately so it wouldn't break the bank. Originally, we were going to do it like this side and this side with this, but the kit came to over $100. So we were like, well, let's make this a little more affordable. And so we broke it up into sections to make it where it wasn't like if you didn't want the sticks, or if you were only one of the few of the colors of caps like this, the cool color. Or wait, maybe it's not this. Maybe it's not cool color.
Let me just show it real quick.
Okay.
I'm gonna do a little bit of screen share. I'm gonna show the trunk show event item page. All right, y'all. So you should be seeing our front page website, and I clicked on the trunk show event items some slot right here. And if you scroll down, here are the two listings for the two separate things. Because of the amount of metal that we had, I decided not to group the branch with the caps when we sold the kit, so they're separate. Because I didn't think we'd be able to keep up with making sure there was a branch per kit. So the branch is a simple and straightforward listing, but if you click on this one, the front picture is of the sunset orange and the red combo. I didn't want to make it overly complicated, so those are the combos that we have. Is just in correlation to the rainbow. But there's 18 pictures on the listing here, and you can scroll through them. You can see the different ones. I put sizes for each one. I put branches sold separately, though that green on this.
Yeah, because that the branch is not with that. That's not how much that would cost. $26 for 2 caps, and that would
and
be
some beads. It's 2 caps and the purple emerald and Shara white, like that. And then the description has everything, any information that you need. So here's how you do it. While you're looking at the thing, at the listing, here's the drop-down menu. It says color, and you'll click on that arrow, and it'll show you red and sunset orange, marigold and bitter, emerald green and sapphire blue, or raspberry and heron blue. So whichever one you want, you click on the color, and it'll show you the picture of the listing. Now this one also has a bunch of pictures showing you the size and showing it with the branch. And, I think that's about all I included for each colorway. So you would click that, and you can click add to cart, and that'll show you once you have it on your selection. Now, if you just open this listing and you click add to cart, it's going to automatically put red and sunset orange in your cart because that was the default color setting. But you can click the arrow and select a different one, whichever one you want. And that's how you do it.
good job.
All right. There you go.
Yeah, Wendy, if you want specific ones, you can just get them from Anne. And if you could drop your Etsy shop in there, that would be fantastic. You could do that. Oh, Julie says, I got my massage wing. Now I need to Google how to use it. I'm going to do a video, Julie, and I'm going to show you. And I think it's not, once you get it, it'll be pretty intuitive with how to use that piece. So it's not, you just look up gua sha. It's basically a gua sha. That's GUASHA. So if you look at any video with gua sha, this one is specifically designed for your face. But you can use it. I use it on my head. We have one of these that came out. We made this little shorty. So this one, if you want this, you can just drop me in a.
Let's comment.
You can just comment. How much did you have this at?
The branches on the website, the full length ones, I believe I listed 24. So that one would probably be 20.
Oh, well, that's a good price. So Zoe has this at, she wrote it down at 24, I think.
The long one.
The long one here. Oh, hello, Sandy. Hello. All right, let's look at these and let's play with them. So Azalea and I have been discussing, I love this combo. a branch. So this one's 20. If you guys, if one of there, I only have one. So if anyone wants this one at 20, drop it in the comments section, and the first person that I see that asks for it gets it. Remember, I'm streaming to 5 places, y'all. So Dale says, are the branches antique? These are Shibu Ichi, which is copper and silver. So if you polish it, it has a burgundy. I don't know if you can see that.
Not antique, we just made it.
This is the metal color. You can see that the highlight is a kind of a rosy, kind of a coppery gold, not copper, like a rose gold color. Kind of peachy. Like the metal itself is like a pinkish color. But to get this heat treating, it's another couple of steps. You have to get them really hot with the torch. And after they've been blazed with the torch until they're cherry red, you let them cool a bit. And then you go take them onto the buffing wheel. And the buffing will make that, you get that sweet, sweet, deep burgundy. And so that's what, that's how you get that color. So if you cast it, you will get kind of a pale, it's not truly a copper color, cast copper has a different look to it. It's more orangey. This has a nice kind of a, it's a really beautiful combination, I think, of color. So anyway, let's get sorted here. Yeah, I had a lot of fun picking these. So I'm going to set some aside here. We'll do it like this. So anyway, did you guys, everybody have a good Father's Day? Today was a nice day. We went on an early morning bike ride and then went out to lunch to a place called the Local Joint. And Dale, I'm not sure. Are we gonna make these in pewter? We don't have them in, we don't have the molds for pewter right now. It's okay if they're bendable. This is like a stick. We don't have a pewter. Dale, I don't know. But I picked this because eventually these will be made in pewter, but we do not have a mold of it at this moment. So right now it's available as this. We first launched these in silver, and we didn't make them in bronze yet. So we'll try bronze next. Maybe bronze, maybe another batch of silver. We have a bunch of different sticks that we did. So I'm gonna get my silver out, some wire, and I'm gonna experiment. So Azalea and I want to do a contest to kind of like the one we did before with the rabbit. You guys remember that kid? We haven't done a contest in a minute. That was kind of stressful to pick a winner. I don't like picking winners. I don't know why, but it's just fun to get everybody excited and using the pieces instead of sitting on it like I do. Sometimes I'll sit on a thing for like 1,000 years and not do anything with it. So let's see, I got some head pins here. These might be a little short. This is too short. Let's see what else I've got. This is a good looking one right here. Julie would like a silver branch. Yeah, they're I sold all of them and I was like, I need to make this for me.
I know.
In silver.
We don't have any left.
I know there's none left. Azalea spent all last week making the waxes for these. We'll do a tutorial sometime and show it. Maybe not a tutorial's the wrong word. I think
demonstration.
The demonstration is a better word. What looks good with this is this purple cap right here.
Yeah, that does look fire.
I think I love that. Or maybe, any of these would be really beautiful.
Yeah, that looks good.
When you decide, it's hard to decide.
I love how rich she got the colors on these and the texture.
And yeah, look, they're on each side. There's a beautiful coating. I did enameling for a number of years when I lived in Columbus, Ohio. It was one of my very favorite things to do. It was very satisfying. This is my favorite color, by the way. It's called Bitter. Isn't that pretty? We'll make another batch. I see, all the silver ones, they sold really good. But the only thing is the silver keeps getting more and more expensive. It's my least favorite thing about silver is the cost of it.
Well, we can be honest with people. I went to the store with my dad the other day. Our silver person that supplies us, and they said that we'll probably see 40 next week for silver,
Ugh,
which
I
is
hate it.
high, which is very high.
Yeah, I know. It's like, what
The
the
little
heck?
bag that we got of silver to make this, we made a choice. We were originally going to sell this cap kit with silver branches, but when we saw how expensive it was, my dad and I figured to make them in Shibu because it would stretch it farther so we could have more for people and it wouldn't be too expensive.
Yeah, because the price goes up.
We got $300 worth of silver and it was not a lot. Bag was small.
That's how it goes sometimes. That's how it goes. Let's see. I have this is dead soft, a little bit thick. What are we doing today, my friends? So I kind of want to do from this branch. Wouldn't this be good to do this? Like that? That's what I'm thinking. Or it could be, you know what? So the part of this, I think, is playing with shape and form with this. So where's the hole? Like, why is it? Where'd it go? So you could do one of these like this. Let me get in there a little tighter. I'm going to zoom in. We got synthwave music. Pretty good. All right, here we go. Wendy says, I actually think Shibuichi is much more realistic. I would agree with that.
I think it looks great in that brown, that glossy golden red.
We didn't make it before. We made it in silver before, and I thought it was beautiful before. But when it's I don't know if you can see it, but when it's highlighted, you get that little hint of pink and burgundy. I don't know if you can see that from on your camera or on the screen, but it's one of my favorite metals. And it's unusual. Not that many people know about it. So, yeah, can you imagine a necklace with just this? You know, my friend Kathy Van Cleek has a branch. She calls it a branch, maybe sticks, but they're made in like a rolled, like PMC, and she makes a whole necklace with it. I mean, that necklace is like $400. But yeah, could you picture it? I can picture it. Let me just see what it would look like. Give me a few of them, daughter. Pass me some of them so I can get the full flavor.
What? What do you want?
Let me have a few more so I can show how that would look.
Oh,
if you got a couple
caps?
more. No, these, the Shibu.
Oh, yeah.
Here's
We have to be
another one.
careful. I have to bag this stuff
Yeah,
immediately after we put it out because otherwise stuff gets lost. Here, put it immediately back in the bag.
And let's just look, give it a look. Yeah, that's if you had the full necklace. That would be if you were feeling highfalutin and wanted to make that like a woodland necklace. It would definitely be an art piece. Could you imagine? And then have it like this. This is just my fantasy right now. We'll just see what it looks like. I love it already. And have that as the dangle all the way around. It wouldn't be that expensive, I don't think. Maybe I'll make more. It was what, 25? So it'd be like for this was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you could just finish it with chain or leather. If it were like Sundance style, you'd have leather coming out the top. Oh, Jillian says I have my necklace collection. So I spent all day yesterday working on necklaces. And I wanted to show this at a certain point tonight. But what we're going to do is when the live is over, we are going to list them because I did not get a chance. It took me forever to finish them. Putting clasps on is my least favorite part of this project. I don't like when I'm making necklaces, I don't like to do it. It's not really my favorite. So they will be listed on the finished necklace, or will you put it in the trunk show, Zoya? the necklaces when we're done.
Yeah, I can put them in the trunk show.
Yeah, so I have a couple. I'm gonna just briefly glance at it. Here's one, and this will be on there in the trunk show. Or you're gonna put it on the trunk show?
Yes.
So this one, look, I finished it. Took me forever. I don't know why. It just does. So that one's coming soon. I have a whole pile. I meant to do, and then we took pictures all day. And taking pictures, you'd think that wouldn't take that long, but I was always like, okay, listen, Mom, you cannot have minute-long videos for each of the pieces, because that's what I did. All right, so I'm trying to figure out, this would be one idea. Like, I don't want to, that silver wire that I had earlier, what I do with it?
You just had it in your hand a minute ago.
No, I'm talking about another one. Getting out the stuff. It's the decision-making process. Can you look over on top of that table over there, babe?
What am I looking for?
This wire, but I wanted the square wire. This is 18 gauge. I think it's too heavy duty.
Isn't that it?
Oh yeah, and Azalea always combines if she can. Oh, this is what I was looking for. I love this wire. It is, I got this at an estate sale last week in Knoxville when Joanne and I were having an adventure. And Azalea, you were there. That was good times. So I'm gonna go on it. Yeah, we always try to refund. I have a little,
If I combine orders, I refund the
yeah,
shipping.
we don't,
Sometimes I don't combine orders if somebody's been waiting a while for something and I finally have a hold of that and then they place another order that has to wait for it to be made. I'm thinking, okay, in combination, this person will be waiting way too long if I combine these orders and wait for them. So unless I get explicit instructions from the customer to absolutely combine the orders and they don't care how long it takes, I will usually ship things as soon as I have the fixings to ship them. I don't like making people wait, I don't do it if I don't
there's
have
a
to.
way if you want them to be together, sometimes there's a way. I want to put this whole thing together, but I'm not going to because this is probably, I don't know how many of these, we figured they sold really fast, so I kind of hesitate to put them all together. But I don't want to cut up my wire for that. Maybe I'll just use copper for that. So it's not a big deal if I cut it out. Would you mind getting me some, do you know where there's some basic wire that's not silver?
I thought you just asked for that one.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
I don't know.
Do you want to cut it up? Oh no, I'll make some earrings right now.
No, you don't have to cut it up. You don't have to cut it up. You're gonna put together this or what?
No, I want to do it. I'm getting,
There's bead caps enough. There's some caps that you can keep, but you could only maximum keep one pair of each color because those are the samples that Ann sent us. And then these are the ones that I put on the website. You just
Well, that's
can't
what
use
I
any
want.
branches right now.
yeah, I want to use all the branches. I want all the branches for me.
No,
I want to be greedy and have them all.
not permitted.
Not an option. So here's the thing, like this would be pretty too. Could you imagine this? Let's do it. I want to see it. I want to, you know what? I want to see all of it. Oh yes, we will put the necklaces on the trunk show event category. We ran out of time. It's always the way. When I have to take pictures, it's not my favorite. It takes me forever to take. I keep grabbing this wire and then putting down the other wire. What am I doing, Thornton? Like, get started. I'm just going to put this together now. This is my favorite combination. I'm going to do one just to see how it looks. Let's just do it.
You could probably keep the little mini one.
Which one?
The short one.
No, it's already, Wendy picked it out.
Oh. Okay.
It's fine. All right, let's just clip this one together. Or I'm kind of tempted to do, this is another option here. And that is to, I'm going to just do it so we can see. So this is rosary pliers. They have a little clipper on the end. You've seen me do this before, y'all. So I'm going to clip this. Let's get in here and see what happens. So if you're gonna do this, this is we all know how to put a head pin. We've seen me do that a million times. So we're gonna do this that's a little more involved. So what you're gonna do is make a loop, but you don't finish it. I'll show you why here. And when I say you don't finish it, I'll show you I mean you're not gonna finish the whole thing because you need to be able to get in there and wrap these things. And it's easier if it's in a form that isn't tucked into the cap already. Wendy, that's not hard. You should see we have a really good, we have some of those shorter pieces. Let's see, make sure that's a good size. So what I'm going to do, see, I don't want this to stick out too far. So I'm going to make this a tiny bit tighter. And I'm not going to put it together until after I have wrapped the things, and then I'm going to tuck through so that it's like it'll be kind of like a waterfall effect. Now, when you're using square wire, this is fine wire, fine silver. Especially with a square, you do not want to make it where it is. See, I'm going so gingerly because I don't want to mar the wire, even though it's going to be tucked in. You won't even be able to see it. You still don't want to make it chewed up looking. Okay. So anyway, we're going to do a little competition. We're working on what's the prize? What's the prize? What do you guys want for a prize? Maybe we'll do a pair of sticks or something. We're going to be casting sticks next week as well. So we're thinking about what would be a good prize. Maybe Wendy has a good idea there. Some shorter ones for an earring kit would be good. You know, was it yesterday? Joanna and I went to an estate sale in Hendersonville, and this guy started gesticulating to us like really wildly. And I was at first like, what is this guy doing gesticulating at me? Like really pointing at the car. And I was like, wait a minute, let's just go pull over. And my tires were, one of my front tires was really low, looked almost flat. So we pulled over, and then it was kind of stressful. But you know what? I knew what to do because my dad taught me what to do if that ever happened. So I wasn't freaking out. I was like, okay, no worries. I've got this. No worries at all. And I was able to get to a Sheetz, which is a kind of was a really fancy gas station around here. And I was able to get the air in the tires. So I guess y'all want those sticks, because I'm seeing Melanie and Clem. Clem says, I work for sticks. Yes to a pair of sticks. Okay, so what we'll do for the contest, we're gonna try to wrap it up, hopefully before Big Crafty. Big Crafty's in about a month. So what we'll do, we've already got everything ready. We don't have to wait on anything. All the sticks are done. Everything is done. So we'll be shipping out. Maybe give everybody about 2-3 weeks to make something, and then we can launch it on the Facebook group. And I think that'd be pretty cool. What do y'all think about that?
That sounds good.
So how about that? After everybody gets it, we will have I hate to say competition, but I guess it's the only way to say it. All right. So I'm going to I'm going to get little bitty ones. Back to these smalls. You know, you can make these. I've shown on the lives how to make these guys. They're itty bitty. They're so easy to make. I've shown them a million times, but sometimes it's easier to buy them. But I have a bunch of silver wire. So I have a smorgasbord here, and it dumped all over my totally dumped onto my table. Scooping some more of these so I have a few more options. The thing dumped, so I accidentally caught my leg on it. It's under the table. And that way it goes. And I want something round and berry like. Maybe faceted. Oh, that'd be cute. Let's get that. So small. Oh, these are really round. So let's see what this looks like. We're just being experimental right now and seeing how this looks. Look how little that is. Isn't it so super cute? So this, we want to see this challenge, Dell. Thank you for that word. We want this, the stick and cap. You don't have to use all of them, but if you do, that would be sweet. So yes, this is going to be the challenge, is using these, the caps and the sticks or both. That'll be the design challenge. And we're going to give it a month. So let me see how that looks. We'll test it again and just see how that will play out. Might be too short, but this is how you do it. You know, you kind of have to. I feel like that's a little too short. So let's get in here. Oh, maybe I need some this size. Maybe like a 3 mil. This would be it right here. I think this will be the one. I think that'll be the cute one. That's a teeny. Look at how cute that is. All right, let's see how that looks. Well, I'm testing it now to take a look before I go through the rigmarole of putting it together and then discovering, hey, that looks like trash. Not that it would, but you know what I mean. Like it wouldn't look the very best that it could look. So this would give it almost like a look of, what are those little things called? Stamen? Pistons, you know, on the flower, the little dingle dangles with the pollen on it. Can't think of the word. So anyway, let's just try. I think that'll look good. I'm going to fish out some more in this pile here of beads. I have a million of them in here. Pearls would be pretty. I was going to get them ready. Maybe find another color. That'd even be better. Like a pale orange would be pretty. Or a little bit bigger would be nice too. Size variation. Let's just glance to see how that'll look with a little bit bigger. Check the look. I'm gonna make myself, after looking at this, y'all, I'm making this. It's that's one of the perks to being able to cast is, you know, and what does Liz say from Cherry Tree? She goes, "It's good to be king." That's what she says. True. I think that'll be pretty. Ooh, a teeny teardrop. Stamen. Yes, I think that's correct. Let's see some teardrops in there and check that look out and see, what one could be in there, like it's like a water droplet right there. Wouldn't that be special? We'll try it. No reason not to. Let me see. I can do one. Originally, I was looking for Grux. That's a shape that's kind of like this, but it's kind of like this, but kind of fatter, and it's kind of like a teardrop, like an oblong teardrop. It's called a drup, and it's a check bead. And the only thing is I don't like to order it because I can't see it and touch it. You know what else would be good? Let's try some of these too. I have these weensy little ovals. Aren't those just so delightful? I'm gonna try that. That's a stone called Andalusite. I used to have an obsession with it. It's kind of weird, I know. That's how it goes. So this is why you don't finish it, because this would be a pain in the hind end to wire wrap with this thing. If you were to finish it, no way. It'd be a nightmare to do it. So it's best to wait, have it like this, and then do it. All right, so we'll do that right now. Terry says, are you selling that mini mix? Somebody asked me. I have if you saw this mix, that's what this is things that have spilled in my this was my crochet kit, and I was taking it to the airport with me, and all the lids came off, and that was what I was left with. So I guess I could do it where
Just
I mean,
show everybody of it, like,
like
you go
this.
live and just scoop it and be like, okay, who
Okay,
wants this
here
scoop?
go. This is a scoop. That's what, the only thing is like, I guess I could weigh it because it would be
Oh,
really hard.
That does look so good. That's a fairy queen necklace.
I'm making it. That's what's gonna happen, y'all. This is, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I could get yeah, 5 is best. And then finishing it with chain, or just going off and
You
making
could
it
add little
10
delicate dangles off of each of these.
here. It'd be like this. This is what I was thinking. It's like 1 here, and then in the join, maybe 2. Is that too much? Is it over the top? Oh well.
Yeah, you could
Dale
do
says, I'm
5.
sending you some Herkimers to play with. I like that story. It's a good story right there. Thank you, Dale.
Oh yeah, Herkimer's on that.
I love Herkimers.
Ice crystals on the fairy queen's neck.
Yes. Beautiful. Oh, I want to show what I got at the estate sale. So cool. I went to one, and you know what? I left my wallet, and it fell out of my bag. I'm not sure what happened, but anyway, I had to drive back and get it. I'm like, this is what I like about Asheville, is that I can drop my wallet, and the folks are just going to call me and say, hey, you forgot your stuff, and nothing is missing from it. So nice. Okay, that was fast. It's like, you know what? Isn't that funny? Like, I got that fast and perfect the first time. Look at that. And guess what? You won't even see it because it'll be like this. See what I mean? You'll see, you'll get that little bit of movement. Isn't this a pretty color right there? I love it. I think this one is, what is this color called? Is that one that heliotrope or something? Not
Heron
heliotrope.
blue.
Heron blue. Lovely. I agree with you. Herkimer diamonds are a win. And now I need a little bit of this kind of wire. This is what is this? This is 26 gauge silver wire. Sandy says, I would like some of that mini gem assortment. All right. I'll have to figure it out. But listen, I mean, when I say that I have a bunch of these, I'm not playing around. I have boxes and boxes and boxes, because even though it's fun to go through and sort this, I don't want to do that. I don't want, I mean, I did. I sorted out all of the I went through there and I picked out every single one of the tourmaline slices, and that was, oh, if you, that's true. I forgot about that. Wendy says there's a ton of little gems in that crochet necklace kit. There's a kit that we had a couple times. I feel like those sold pretty fast, but in that kit there was, I mean, it was like this, but there's not as much big, it was like it would be weeding out the large stuff. It was all smalls, and we got a really good deal in Tucson a few years back, and that one just broke. Lame.
What broke?
This little piece of
Oh, I thought I got nervous for a second.
no, nothing of our stuff's sturdy and good. There's no worry about, none of these sticks are gonna break.
I wasn't worried about the stick. I was worried about one of the
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 cats?
pink
No.
emerald or the purple
Oh, the
emerald.
emerald, no.
I didn't want that to be cracked on screen. Like,
No, that's not the case. This is some of these.
they're pretty hard, aren't they, on the Mohs scale?
Emerald, yeah, that's like, it's actually, it's a type of beryl. I was under the impression, somebody had told me a long time ago, or it was myself that thought this, because someone had informed me that rubies, sapphires, and emeralds are basically the same thing. And then I discovered that that's not true. That the sapphires that you see when you're getting a thing of sapphires, and it looks like the strand, if you've ever seen a mixed gemstone strand, and it looks like it has a smorgasbord of colors, a complete rainbow of colors. You think that it's all sapphire, but there's differences. So they have a similar hardness, but the emerald is actually a beryl. So
How is that spelled?
beryl.
Is it a Y in it?
Beryl.
Okay,
Beryl.
that barrel.
How will you connect the sticks together? That's a good question, Nancy. I'm in love with this. I had to really work with a square wire, but it's fine silver. And I'm super in love with it. Look at the kind of a wavy gravy look. It kind of looks, this is for wire wrapping. If you've ever seen wire wrap jewelry, that's what that's for, or that's what they use a lot of the time. So I'm going to use that. I'm going to do mine. I'm not going to do this right now because this is for the sale that's on the website, and I don't want to have to cut it apart and waste all that silver wire. But I'm going to use that, and I'm going to make it look like vines. So I'm doing this little water drop in there. It'll be pretty. I'm sure of it. This is looking pretty. I don't like doing briolettes. I mean, I don't know about y'all, but briolettes make me nervous because I have more than once. See, I'm holding this top, and the one I broke earlier is because I was trying to bend it. And it is so easy to crack the top off of a briolette. So don't be like me. And you see, I bent it with my fingers. You have to really, like, I'm supporting it in the middle so that there's no pressure on the top of it. See, it's like kind of sideways. What you don't want to do is what I just did, and I snapped the top off of my briolette. Briolettes are kind of easy to mess up. I have a box. It's not a big box, but I have a box full of briolettes that were broken because it's easy to snap that top off right there. If I bent this way, most gemstones, unless it's a real hard one, they can break very easily. So you want it to have plenty of play and not be too tight, because that's, if it gets turned and you try to correct that turn, it can snap also. So you got to be mindful when you're using them. They just take finesse. This will look like a little water droplet coming out of that part. You know what I can't believe? I can't believe it's been 52 minutes since I started. That's unreal. Azalea and I were like, okay, so when we're done with the hour, we're going to list all of the necklaces. So that's a big job. The hardest part of it is naming those nuts and saying, hey, this is, whatever the gemstone is, because sometimes I got to look them up, especially with the ones that are kind of specimen type. Like there'll be some that have like red iron oxide with hematite, and I have to look it up what it is. But I make meticulous notes of pretty much every gemstone that I buy. So we'll be fine. It's weird. So this week, I have been in an internet battle. I don't know if this has ever happened to you, where you make a comment and then other people comment, and it just becomes kind of a dumpster fire of commenting. And I don't know if y'all know this, but I have been knocked off more times than I can count by people taking my work and then recasting it and then selling it. So the first time it happened was probably 25 years ago, and it was like, I don't remember the brand. It was like can't remember the brand. It was like I don't remember anymore. But I was super traumatized to see my stuff in a magazine or in a catalog for somebody else. And those castings still exist. There's people that, they still knock my stuff off, and there's nothing I can really do about it because it's international, right? You can't go and pursue if they're overseas. So, uh, anyway, I've sent more cease and desist letters than I care to think about to tell people, hey, yo, that's and you know what? I was in many times. I've been in places where like I'd see, for example, this hasn't been done, but I have a horse button and I was in California in a gallery and someone had recast my horse button and they'd made it into a ring. And I was like, that's some, and I had to sit there and read through it.
And you and Jessica after for years?
Oh my God, I don't even talk about it. So there's a
Well,
guy.
name names if you can, so
Yeah,
people know.
well, I can't even think of it right now because I'm like, so just thinking about it makes my blood boil. But there's a guy, Mike Jones, there it is, Mike. He has a bad habit of he recast my stuff. And you know the funny thing is Greg toured his workshop maybe 10 years ago and so that he could cast for us. And on his workbench, Greg saw a bunch of our dragonfly pendant that he was just casting and selling. And we're like, whoa, bro, what's this? And he was like, oh, um, uh, uh, that's some tests. And we were like, yo, you can't be doing that. And it turned out he had a whole collection of like 50 pieces that he's been recasting. And our buddy Jess, she's been trying to find him to serve him a cease and desist. Now it's probably been 5 years. He's been like, you can't find them. If you can't find them, then they can't be served. And that was the whole idea. So he's been incognito for a while. Can't find that guy.
Well, now people know.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no need to go and keep that a secret. If somebody is, if they're walking around a craft show or something and they happen to see our stuff laying on the table and there's a dude with a suspiciously similar name to Mike Jones.
Oh no, he doesn't. He sells it to other people. That's what he's not the. He doesn't
Well,
sell
then
it.
keep y'all's eyes open because that's who we're after.
And you know what was funny? Like before that, I'd see him at the To Be True Blue show, and he'd come up to the table and he'd be like, "Guess what, Green Girl? I'm coming at you. We got a setup. I got the casting equipment." And I was like, "Come on, bring it. Come on, Mike." I am not of a competitive nature. I mean, I hang out with other metalsmiths, like all the casters that did the show, Ann Choi, Bob Burkett, Carl Klassmeyer, they're my friends. So I was like, okay, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, because you didn't know, like nobody alive here invented metalsmithing. So what are we doing, guys?
So he came up about a year later to the booth and he goes, Cynthia, I just want to tell you that I have a lot of mad respect for your work because it's a lot harder than I thought it would be. So he came up to the table and he showed me his stuff, and it was like super basic, like a heart and a cross. And I mean, it was like so basic. And I was like, he's like, how do you do it? And I had my kit. So I busted it out and I was like, and this is how of what like I'm not a selfish person. So I was
You're
like,
not a gatekeeper.
I'm not a gatekeeper. So I was like, here, Mike, I'll give you a tutorial. So I sat with him at the show that I'm supposed to be working right before the show. And I sat him down and taught him some basics. And I taught his son. His son was there. He's like, he was similar age. And so I was like, if you need help, I'll help you, And, it was pretty cool. They were really nice. And, I didn't know he was going to be knocking my stuff off, but, that's how it goes. Sometimes people, maybe he just didn't want to do the work or they found it was really tough to make, which it is. It's not easy. And so anyway, this brings it back around to copyright law and trademarking, basically intellectual property. And so I have experience with intellectual property. And nothing makes my blood boil is when I see people throwing around the word plagiarism if it's like, oh, I carved a heart. No, you can't copyright a heart. I'm sorry. That's not how that works. And a couple of my friends were like, I'm going to copyright this. And I'm not even joking you right now when they had like the most basic heart, you've ever seen and then try to tell me they're going to copyright it. It's like you can't do that because that has existed already. I mean, when was the first time you saw a heart piece? I mean, I don't even know when the first time that even appeared in, our visual vocabulary as humans. I want to say probably, when was the first time I don't even know. I would say maybe, I'm trying to think of
They
what
were
the
doing
oldest
heart
heart.
stuff, at least in the Victorian era.
At least
They
Victorian.
had a heart shaped
I was
like,
about to say like Elizabethan. So
yeah,
it's a
I've seen that
1500.
jewelry before. Yeah, I've seen it where they put the hearts on the necklaces.
So I would say at
Embroider
least.
hearts on the stomachers of their dresses. I've seen that.
So anyway, this gal she has this thing called, I can't remember her page, but she was calling out Mel Robbins and saying she was plagiarizing this other gal, Cassie Phillips' poem, Let Them. And so I read the poem. It's a beautiful poem. And it's basically a poem about stoicism. If someone says something to you or is rude to you, let them, and you decide, you just walk away. You don't get involved. It's also, that exists in, if you were raised Christian, that would then turn the other cheek, right? So it's not a new concept. I mean, the first time I remember I've heard it, that concept for years. And I listened to meditations by Marcus Aurelius, which was written in like 72 AD. And that is another, uh, a whole kind of like self-help book, like an ancient self-help book that has the same principles, that if, you don't try to control other people's behavior, you can only control yourself. And if you're getting insulted, walk off, assess, and then come back later. And so anyway, I just finished the book, Let Them by Mel Robbins. I follow her podcast, and it's a good book. It's good. It's very helpful. I mean, if you've ever been in a situation where you're trying to get someone to hear you, to see you, and to see you for what you're trying to do, sometimes it doesn't work and you can't convince someone. Sometimes you just got to walk off and give yourself a minute and not try to force it, because it's not gonna do anything. Anyway, people were dragging me so hard because I was like, look, you can't copyright the words "let them." I'm sorry, but that's not how it goes. And they were like, well, she totally plagiarized because this poem was written by Cassie Phillips 10 years ago. And so, number one, I tried to explain this. One is a book, the other is a poem. And so automatically, right there out of the gate, that would be thrown out because you have two formats. It's like how Nike has trademark Just Do It. Now you can use Just Do It on any other product that's not, under the umbrella of what Nike sells. So if you're a fabric company and you're like, just do it, you can do that. They can't stop you because you're in a different genre. So people argued so hard, and I was like, look, this is so simple. You need 7 points of differentiation in order to be free and clear. Like, people used to come up to my table and they'd say, I don't know if you guys know Bob Burkett, but he carves frogs. I carve frogs. He taught me a lot of techniques in carving. But here's the thing. He doesn't own the frog shape. And
The
so
frog shape, the form of a
the
frog,
form of a frog.
Marty form.
And this gal comes up to the table. She's looking at my work and she goes, I don't think this is right. This frog looks just like Bob's. And I said, you mean it's a frog? And she's like, well, Bob makes this. And she didn't know Bob personally. And he was standing at my table because we were set up right next to each other. And I looked over at Bob and I said, Bob, how'd I do? How would you say that I copied you here? And he goes, nope, that is a tree frog, and mine is a horned frog, a horned toad. And the gal was like, well, doesn't it bother you that she's doing the same thing? And he's like, I did not create frogs, so you can't control. Anybody can carve it. So that's the thing, is like, you can use the same language because you can't copyright that. And so I went back and forth with these people and I got so irritated. And I was like, why am I doing this? But I got so triggered because people were using the term plagiarism and they didn't understand it. I was like, you guys are using this word and you don't understand what it means. You don't understand intellectual property law, and you're dragging this person, another woman, because you're sensitive that a half a page poem was used.
That's icky behavior on their part. Like, just people will oftentimes, I think they'll just look for things to be mad about because of the simple, just it's as simple as envy sometimes.
Well,
You
to
see
me,
another woman succeed and you pick her apart because you can't stand the idea that she's done something that you didn't do. Not
mhm.
you personally, but I see it all the time on the internet that while we have advanced in technology and we've advanced in so many other ways, humans are humans, and sometimes we do selfish or say selfish things just out of simple envy. And I feel like they'll find a problem with anything anybody does simply out of envy.
Well, they were dragging Mel Robbins, and I was like, one thing I hate, like to see anybody being torn down, dude or lady, I don't want to see that. But it particularly bugs me when gals are doing that to each other. It's like, listen, we need to work together and lift each other up, not sit there and find ways that pick apart and be like, listen, this was done 1,000 years ago, and then you should, I think even if she did have, like, said, hey, and she does say there's from ancient wisdoms.
Yeah,
It's
you
like,
can't accuse plagiarism of an ancient idea.
yeah, it's
If
what I was like,
something's been
that's not.
around and talked about for thousands of years, you can't sit here and say that this person
Copy.
who this person who wrote the poem was inspired by the same idea of the person who wrote the book, but the person who wrote the book plagiarized the poem. You're tripping. That's not how that
Mhm.
works. It's an old idea. If it was somebody's like character or their own fictional story and it was copied word for word, or just they changed the name of the characters, that's a different idea because that's somebody's fictional story. But if it's an idea like what you said, stoicism, that's been talked about for forever, you
Yeah,
can't
at
accuse
least
of
2,000
plagiarism on
years,
that. You
at
can't claim
least.
that.
So,
Be serious. These people just don't know what they're talking about, and they'll find any reason to be mad. They love to argue, and they are envious of Mel because she's found she's found success. So
well, here's the thing. They were like, well, how do you explain her trademarking it? And I was like, this is simple. And if you spent the time and money to hire these people, because the book itself is not just uh, Mel being like, here's what you do, as if she's a clinical psychologist. She's hired different scientists and different people um, to put their 2 cents and to break it down and make it like it's like it's a self-help book. I mean, I don't know. I just love I don't know what my deal is, but I love a self-help book. I'm like, I don't know, does the Four Agreements, is that a self-help book? I guess it's be found in the self-help section. This little driblet right here is making me crazy because it keeps bending this way. I'm like, how do I get that to not do that? So I'm gonna squeeze it up there a little bit. How do you guys feel about that? Do you like it with that thing dripping down? Or should I cut it off? What do you think? So as soon as I have this full, I can twist this and add it to one of these. Look how pretty that would be. So that's one idea, so that you could do this. That's one. You could do where the whole thing is covered with like this shape inside, tucked in even higher. Now, if I wanted these to be even higher, what I would do is make the initial loop smaller. But yeah, Karen says cut it off. Cecilia says cut it off. Done. I'm not precious. We'll cut that thing right off of there. I know it's making me crazy. So anyway, I realized that I was spending like trying to gently explain this because I don't want to be like a jerk about it. But I need something a little bit sharper to cut that. This is not sharp enough. Get it. There we go. There we go. Sandra says I feel like it's too low. Oh, Karen says it would look great if it was up higher. I already did it, so there you go. Let's take a look and see how it looks now. This is a little cleaner. I like it better with that green. This is what they call bitter. That pretty right there. That I love that contrast. Could have a few more, don't you think? Couple more. So the higher up that this loop will give you a tidier, more snug fit. So that's something to consider, or make the veils shorter, which I could have done, which would include this. Let me see. Just make it a little bit smaller. Maybe I can put another color in there, or this one would be pretty because I don't have that. Sandra says, but the blue among the red was pretty. Okay, that's good thinking. Maybe I'll go in there and fish out a round that is the right shape. Anyway, that was kind of annoying to deal with that. And then I realized I'm trying to explain copyright law, and no one wants to. They're like, but what if it was you? And I'm like, y'all aren't listening. This did happen. I've actually taken people to court. And I was like explaining it had to be 7 points different. If it has 7 points different, it's automatically tossed out. It's not copied. And that's it. That's case closed. There's no extra with that. So I mean, I don't know what it is in other places, but that's how US copyright law works. Maybe this color, look at this. This is tourmaline, and it has a little pink and green. Isn't that sweet? Let's see how that looks. We'll check before we do it. We'll say, hey, how's that looking in there? How do you feel about that little bit of pink and green?
I like pink and green.
Mm-hmm. I think that's pretty. Actually, I want that blue, though. That touch of blue would be good. I'm digging around in this other section.
Scrounging again.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I don't see that size. The size that I want. Yeah, look at that. I was actually thinking maybe I can dig it. There's a soft, beautiful kyanite. Look at this one. This is Imperial kyanite. Look how little that is. It's so pretty. Let's see how that looks in there. Just to give it a little pop. Yeah, I like that story. Now, if you were to make this lower, you could do it like this. You could use the very tip. I think I have one that's even sharper right here. Look how sharp these guys are. Look at this. So that's a pretty sharp tip. So what you do to make that is you go right up to the neck, right up there. See how, and I'm making the smallest loop that is possible with the very, very tip top of this pair of pliers. And that'll make it, that if you wanted them shorter, that's what you would do. And look how small that loop is. But to do this, it would be tucked up kind of like this. All right, so see this? I'm testing it now. So that's up there high. I don't want to do that because the other ones are a little bit lower. So what I'm going to do is make that loop a little bit bigger. Yeah, if you put a seed bead down to bridge the top of the wire gap, yeah, you could do that. There's a lot of possibilities. So this is only one way that you could use this. I just wanted to show the two ways that I had drawn in my sketchbook of what I was imagining when I saw these. I got these from Anne. I had a collection of these probably from that show that I got them from at the Viscount Hotel. You remember that? That was a long time ago, but that was where I first got these bead caps. And I made some earrings with them. I gave them to my mom, and she liked them. So, and I used crystal, so they were clear, and they kind of disappeared. They were only okay. She didn't love them. She liked them okay. So, You know what else would be pretty is if you had 4 on a cluster. Let's see. Let me move these guys out of the way. Make a little space. Yeah, so here's one possibility where it's a solid berry. And then another is this one with the multi stamens in there. Good times.
I mean, he is just laying on the beads.
Yeah, he's on the table. I have to wipe the table continuously because he's all the one getting it. Man, we had kind of a hard day yesterday. Greg was going to replace the tiles. We have tiles in the kitchen and they're ceramic. And a couple of them, this is not going to surprise anybody, but I dropped a cast iron skillet on the floor and I cracked some of the tiles. And so he was going to replace the tiles, but then when he lifted them up, especially right next to the dishwasher where they had cracked, there was a ton of like, it's basically rotten underneath the dishwasher.
Dishwasher leak that caused all the wood to rot out.
Oh my,
And
it's
then,
so terrible.
the one of the problems that he told me was that underneath the initial wooden boards, there was a lining of linoleum,
Ugh.
and that was not supposed to be there.
Yeah, so
and that caused some problems as well.
So it was keeping, I don't know the full, I'm gonna add another blue one. The full amount of damage, but I was like, that's all we need is to have
The
this.
floor underneath there needs to be replaced.
So the floor needs to be
They're gonna have to cut a hole on Monday or tomorrow. We're having somebody come and evaluate the damage and see how much it's gonna cost for us, but it's gonna be rough, you guys.
It's gonna be not good.
It was very stressful yesterday.
Yeah, he was tearing it out and we were just looking in horror at the extent of the damage. So there's underneath where the dishwasher, we pulled the dishwasher out. It's completely rotten all the way to the subfloor. So I'm going to be selling a bunch of stuff here come real shortly. I got paintings. I got a bunch of stuff I'm going to be moving in order to raise money to fix our floor. So get ready. So if you guys would not mind to like and share our videos, and if you feel generous, you can order. You want to help us out? That would be fantastic. I don't usually say anything like that just because it's, it's awkward. You're like, listen, we make art for a living. And it can be hard, especially in this day and age when the first thing people cut in their lives is artwork, which is a shame because, when COVID hit, what that whole quarantine, what that taught us is that we're at our most human when we're creating. And what happened when people were, really low and really feeling miserable? We made art. We went in there and we learned music. We learned how to paint. I went on a quest for the perfect pudding recipe. We were in the arts. That's what keeps us kind of being our most human, our best self. Let's get another one on this side. Yeah. Oh, please be careful. Oh, listen, it's it makes me not want to have a dishwasher. I'll tell you that right now. If I'd known that was going to be a thing with a dishwasher, I would not have put that thing in there because the damage is extensive. So that's kind of making me feel, I'm looking straight at it right now. And I'm like, every time I look at it, my heart sinks.
Yeah, it's definitely a scary hole.
It's not good. And it's right above, and it's better, it's better than having the dishwasher collapse into the laundry room downstairs. So it's better to find it now.
Yeah. Dad seems confident about being able to fix it. Not him doing it. I had to convince him against that.
Yeah.
Lord have mercy. but he seems like he's not so stressed about it. So maybe that's a good sign for us.
Well, I mean, sometimes it's just a matter of, one thing at a time.
Yeah. Oh, I appreciate a lot of the replies I received to the newsletter yesterday. I wasn't expecting so many people to reply to that with so many sweet and nice things to say for us. It made me very happy and made my heart feel very soft.
Don't read it. Don't tell me about it because I'll begin crying on screen.
Okay. We have a good community of people, very sweet and tender-hearted, kind people in our group. We're fortunate in that.
Yeah, I tell the kids every day, I'm like, listen, we are so fortunate to be able to do what we do because there's a lot of our friends that aren't doing this anymore and they loved it just as much as we love it and they couldn't hang on. But we've managed. I mean, we got through. I thought I was going to go out of business during 9/11 when that's true. But
We thought we were going to go down in COVID. We thought we
Yeah.
were going to go down during the hurricane. I mean, we've had multiple moments of scary, but we made it through all of them. So
Mhm. But that's what comes of cultivating community.
yeah, we would not have been able to do it on our own.
No, we wouldn't have. Now, once these get like kind of thick here, it gets to where you don't want it. It's easy. I've accidentally cracked different stones because it's hard, it's tight here now. So it's getting, this little loop is getting very, very full. So see how that garnet dropped down into my pliers? The more that's on there, the more it, you run the risk of cracking them with your pliers. Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's stressful. It's so stressful. And we are survivors. If anything, I'm a survivor. So Ugh, almost cracked one. There we go. Okay, so that's looking good. Look how full that is. I only have one of this one though. Let's take a look with this. This is my favorite color, the bitter. And you can work them together, I think is pretty. Because it's like this one is flowering and this one has gone to berry. If that makes sense. Isn't that cute? I need to order some liver of sulfur so I can dip this because I want to dip this. Ah, my friend Carrie. There's a kit. We have these. We're launching, Carrie. We're launching these. Anne Gardan has made for Azalea and I these beautiful enamel bead caps. So I was showing the different ways to use it, and I made this cast stick as the focal point to go with them. All right, I'm going to drop that link again. Maybe it's not so. Marty, move your head. You guys, if you should see this cat. He's totally blocking the way. All right, just drop that again. If you want to see the trunk show. I see that when he says, I'm debating dangles on my aquamarine earrings, but worried to be too busy. It's, let me see. I have one big one sitting right here. So this we had in a kit. We might have a few more of these if you want to check out. These are aquamarines, and I hand picked this. Let's take a look just to see what would look like. So in theory, if you bought this, these would look fantastic
He is.
for this. Look how good that would look. So actually, let me see how this.
You should aim it just real quick, just for a second.
Azalea wants to show this. Look at how he.
They're him. Sleeping so cute.
Look, this is a
He's
cord.
even on the phone cord right there.
He wants to all the time be right next to my face, my darling. Whoa.
There we go.
Thank you. So let's take a look on what would happen if we did this. That's actually cute too.
You are so cute and fit.
He's like, I'm trying to
Hey.
sleep.
He's knocking down your stuff over here.
Oh yeah, I did not even
This
notice.
whole spilled. Lord have
Oh.
mercy, that would have been crazy. All right, honey.
Get back into position, my dear.
He's been snatched.
So that looks good too. He is waiting for his treat. Azalea has a weird obsession with this. This is called butter jasper.
Yeah, there's some delicious. That is the
Azalea's
most
like,
edible
it looks
bean I've
like-
ever seen in my life.
It looks like matcha white chocolate.
Yeah, that's.
Yes, Anne has a good point. So these have a great big old hole. You guys know how I feel about a big hole on a bead. That's cute. It almost looks like that could be a face on there. That would be cute. Oh my gosh. Maybe I need to carve this. Could you imagine if I carved this to look like a face?
And then put it on that bead cap. Yeah, that's.
Oh, show, go grab my little perfume bottle. I want to show it. I got it at the estate sale. It's right there on top of that. Look on that wooden thing over there on the platform, the cutting board over there. Look over there by that doll on the back row. Let me try it out with another color. You know, I have an obsession with this. This is my obsession with these. They call these, it's pink quartz, rose quartz, but check it out. They've got like little flecks of mica in there. Let's see what it looks like with this. There's a lot of variation, so I'm gonna try it with that pink. So if you got the pink kit, look how pretty that would be. That cat's getting a lot of kisses, y'all.
That's smooching.
I think that's
Yeah.
pretty too. So that's another option. So here it is with the, let's see what a share white. I carved some of this stone and it was really beautiful. And I made a bead and pendant. Oh, that reminds me, that carving. I have a meeting to go to on Monday night. We're going to go gem sluicing at the Elijah Mountain Gem and Rockhound Center. Maybe we'll do that dark purple with that one. I think it'll look pretty. Oh yeah, with a face. Oh, I love it. Oh my gosh, that would be cute. Or a wooden bead, you could paint it. Maybe I'll do that. That's so cute. I love it. Or a little polymer. I used to make face beads all the time. And you know what we did with those wooden beads? Azalea made them with her little people.
My string doll that I
Her
used to
string
sell.
dolls. So you could just visualize the look. Cecilia says, patent that idea. See, I know all about intellectual property law. I couldn't actually patent that. There's no way that could be patented because it's been done before. Ask me how I know, because I tried to get a tool that I made maybe 27 years ago. And I made this tool for texturing clay. And I went through the whole process, hired a lawyer and everything to get this tool that I made patented. And it's actually really difficult to get a patent. That might be too long for that. What do you think? That's kind of long. Let's see what it looks like better without them. So I feel like it's either this. I think that looks good like that. Don't you? See, a patent is a different thing because you're patenting a function. And that's the difference between like a creative idea. It has to be where it has never existed before. And so they were like texture rolling tool has existed. And I made like a football shape and it was completely textured. So you could sculpt with the tool itself. And I'd never seen it. And I hadn't seen it before I created it. So even though you could roll the texture, they were like, well, it is not like, I don't know, I just didn't get the patent. So anyway, it's hard to get a patent because you're working on function and not like the creative aspect of it. So with this kit, you can make earrings. It's enough to do earrings. So it's like, let me show it again to show the last before we take off. So this is what's in it. You either get 4 caps. They're in a different drop-down colorway. I think we put the greens together. And you get 2 or 4 beads. So it's enough to make earrings. 2 pairs of earrings. So that's actually, I think that's a pretty good value. Don't you think, daughter? For 20 something bucks, you can make 2 pairs of earrings pretty easy. But if you buy these are separate, the sticks, and there's no drop down for that. I can tell my throat is getting a little bit dry, so that's time to wrap it up. I'm gonna get the cat his treat. He's ready. He's been waiting. You have to wait, my darling. And it was funny. Pearl came running up. I said, Marty, it's time to get to work. And Pearl came running. And she's like, I will happily get in there if he's not going to.
She don't even work.
No,
she just eat the treat and then bail.
And then she'd bail. So
that's not the work ethic that we need in this environment.
We need a little bit more.
Our employee needs to stay for the whole time. And not just leave after the lunch break.
Yeah. I'm going to flip this camera around. So I didn't want to put this because I have them, they're all ready. So I would put that on there and where to go. So those are the choices with that. So this is a pretty limited kit. Pick it up if you are interested. I'll flip this back around. Hey, oh. Oops, sorry. Here we are. Here's this boy. That's his churu. Oh, thank you, Cecilia. Cecilia says, this has been lovely. I appreciate you all for joining us this evening. You know, I look forward to this every, when it's time. I'm like, what am I going to do? I think about it all week and what we're going to talk about, what we're going to show. I feel like it's like the time I can connect with the world because, we don't do shows like we used to. Used to be, we did like a show almost every week. And we did the Honey Fast last week. I ended up getting really dehydrated because it was so hot. But it was really fun to connect to the community. But, you can't create in a vacuum. I mean, who wants to create in a vacuum? So I feel like when I'm creating live and I'm getting the feedback between my friends, it's pretty satisfying. Even though, some people say, like, convincing my friend Jen. So we have tentatively, I'm going to put this out there, June 26th, I believe. I might have the days wrong, but we will be launching the Frog and the Moon. We've been working on that for the past 4 months. But if you don't know, I carved 2 originals that Jen carried with her to her workshop, or factory workshop in, I think it's outside of Beijing, where they have a pretty state-of-the-art equipment to carve. They carved them exactly like my carving because they used the 3D scanner and got every nuance. So they are beautifully carved. And we only got 100 of each type of stone. And they have on their following is massive, like over 100,000 followers on Instagram. So she was like, these are going to go in a matter of minutes. And so I was like, how am I going to get some from my customers? How am I going to bring some of this back to them? So hopefully I can get a set and have them on my live, but we'll be doing the debut here in about, I'm going to say, what's this? Maybe next week. It's coming up soon. So I will send out a newsletter to let everybody know when that's going to be taking place. Yeah, this cat, he's not afraid. The frogs will be a very good price. Look at this cat. He's like, I don't want the place. Here, honey, get down. Can't step on my beads. He's trying to step on this thing of grab this cat, daughter.
I can't reach him over there. You have to take him. Oh, he's making his way, moving everything in his path.
His tail
just big and greedy.
He just moved that, but like it was not even.
Just taking up room. Snatch.
Yeah, the price point, I think that will be, you can see the reflection of his eye in the window.
Snatch.
So that's coming soon. And we will be, if anyone wants to come, we'll be having a party at Cherry Tree. So that's going to be fun. And we're going to be working all day with using those hand carved stones. So I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a good time.
Party.
So if anybody's in town for that weekend, I will put more information as it becomes available. We just finished the packaging. It's killer. The packaging. I mean, I worked so hard doing all the watercolor and gouache on those paintings for the backgrounds. They look fantastic. So I am really excited for it. So keep your I want to say to check for if you're not receiving our newsletter, maybe save it as a contact so that it doesn't automatically go to spam. Because we've been having a lot of problem with some of my stuff. I have to go check in there. So I'll see emails from people that are my friends that I've gotten emails from for years, and suddenly it's in the spam folder. So anyway, I am going to wrap it up so I can get some of these necklaces that I finished. I finally got a bunch of them with the clasps put on, and I'm super happy. Like this one, listen, this came out like a dream. It's so pretty. I don't know if you can see it. I meant to show it when it was flat, but man, there, like I'm really pleased with this collection. They'll be going live this evening. So we are gonna work as soon as I get off, we're gonna start uploading. So thank you all. And thanks for being patient. You know, it takes a long time to photograph. I always forget the length of time that photographing and editing takes, because you have to crop it down, it's like all this stuff around it you don't want. So
Mark it, Brat.
he just does what he wants.
He's scratching the chair. You are ready.
All right, my friends, it was wonderful to hang out with you, and we will see you on Wednesday. Love you all out there, and
Night,
take
everyone.
care.